Hey guys, we're just up at the Parleys house, Parleys Way. Just going to give you a walkthrough. We've got about 1 or 2 days left in the rehab here, so I figured it'd be a good time to come through and show you guys what we've done with it. We'll start outside here. The big thing that's changed is this house didn't have very great curb appeal from the beginning, so we were just kind of contemplating what to do. What we ended up doing is just wrapping some wood around the old, or actually we removed the old, I think it was wrought iron, like poles that were here that had that curly Q flowery design to it that really dated it. We boxed it in, gave it this shaker style look to it. We put 4 poles along here, so there was only 3, so we added this middle one in just to kind of even it out and make it look a little bit better. And we added this vinyl fencing in too, just to kind of give it a little bit better look as well. The last thing we're going to do as far as curb appeal is put up some shutters on all the windows in the front, some black shutters, just those louvered shaker style, or not louver, but we're going to do shaker style cabinet, or God, I can't think of the word now, but we're going to throw those up. And we did a new front door as well that kind of went with the white of the pillars, the windows, and the white door. All ties it in and gives it real good curb appeal. We threw some mulch in the beds here, just to make it a little bit fresher in the yard. It snowed on top of it, but we haven't had much snow this year, so it'll melt away quick and give it a nice finished look for the yard. And put some mulch over here as well. So the biggest difference when you first walk in, it's a little dark in here because we're at night, and this front room doesn't have any lights. Not a big deal here, but just for the video, it might not be able to easily see. But the biggest difference in this front room is the floors. In the first video I said we probably weren't going to be doing them, we'd leave them, we were going to do a cheap rehab. But as we tore into it and got most of the rehab done, and then went and drove the comps, getting ready to figure out what we wanted to list at, we realized that there's not much out on the market right now, even in any decent condition whatsoever. And if we finished these floors and did a little bit more to it, we probably could get a lot higher price for it, and it just made it feel a lot better. So, you know, for a couple grand, we refinished this original hardwood with a darker stain instead of the lighter stain. It tied in with the colors better, and it makes it look a lot better. The 2 things that we decided to do on this house that we didn't originally want to do were these floors and the windows throughout the whole house. We were going to leave these old single pane metal windows, but again, as we kind of looked at comps and looked at what we had done here, we were going to replace a couple anyways, and then we just decided to do almost all of them except for the 2 or 3 real big front ones that were more expensive. So that one there is still an old window, but we put some new blinds up. Luckily, Home Depot had a sale for I think 50 or 60% off blinds, so we went and bought a whole set of blinds for the whole house real quick on that deal. The one other thing that's a real good point I should mention now is we did change this fireplace up for really, really cheap. This right here was gold. We painted it black with spray paint. When we had our guy refinish the counters, we also refinished this. I'm not even sure, I think it might have been tile before, but it was like a really kind of orangey pinkish weird brown color. So we just did it black, and you know, from far away it looks like a piece of black granite like we did in the Oak Park house. We put a black piece of granite down, and this, you know, only cost $100. The other thing we took off was there was this same style piece, but it was curvy and had some points and, you know, just old style look. So we just replaced it with a flat piece of wood basically and put it across, painted it. Up here we added some flare. It was probably only this high before, I think. We added 2 pieces of crown on top of it, and then a flat piece of MDF on top, and painted it so it added some flare to the top of the fireplace and gave it a bigger mantle. So just really changed the whole look of the fireplace, made it more of a center point, focal point for under $500 total. So just kind of those type of things to add some flair for cheap is a really good choice and really good return on investment, especially in this front room. It's one of the first things that people see. Let's head into the kitchen first. That's where our biggest change is here. well, not even a huge change, but it does look a lot better. All we did in here was paint these cabinets white. They were black before and painted real bad. So we just went and sanded them down, redid them in white, added new hinges and poles on everything, and then we retiled this floor. This was carpeted before actually. So we put down some travertine floor, which looks really nice, and then added a stainless package. We ran into a little trouble with both the appliances, unfortunately. We're just trying to figure that out in the last couple of days here, but this cabinet hangs down too low so that our microwave is too close to the range. So we're trying to see what microwave would look like that doesn't have the built-in fan in it, since we have the fan that comes, that's already built into the house here. And then the other thing was when we put the tile with the backer board and everything that goes under the tile, plus the tile, it didn't give us enough room for our dishwasher, so our dishwasher doesn't fit under there. So we're gonna have to remove those tiles and slide it back in so we have the room. So minor hiccups here, well, one thing that we didn't do is granite. I don't even know if you can tell in the video, but this isn't granite. We usually do a black granite, but we wanted to keep the price down. You know, if we were to full-blown rehab this thing, we could probably sell it for $380 to $400, list it in that range. We wanted to keep the price down because we know there's a bigger buyer's pool in the lower end prices, but still make it look nice. So we refinished the backsplash and the counters with just that black with a speckle in it. We refinished the old sink and put a new faucet in here. That's pretty much it in here. You can see some beadboard back here. Beadboard's coming in style a lot now, and it's super cheap and easy to throw up. Adds a good look to it. So we threw it on this back wall and then on the side of these cabinets as well, so it looked a little bit better. We're getting really good response from people on beadboard, and it's really cheap fix to make things look nice. We can head back this way real quick into the bathroom and the 2 bedrooms up here. Not much change. I mean, there is, but really not too much of a cost. New toilet, new travertine in here as well. This shower, we just refinished everything. We didn't do new tub, new shower, new tile. This is just the old tile refinished. And same thing in here. We didn't retile or do a new counter. We just refinished the sink and put a new faucet on, and then new doors. The old doors on here were really old style with a floral design, so we took those out, and then of course just your standard updating of lights and towel bar, toilet paper holder, that type of stuff. The bedrooms in here are pretty basic. One thing we did have to do is rebox in these upper cupboards. Once we had it all painted, they just looked real crappy as far as the lines weren't clean, and they stuck out to you as far as waviness on the bottom of these doors. So we did new doors, and you can see new MDF around the cabinets and the edge to give it some more clean lines. We're doing a more modern, straight line, clean line look with a lot of the stuff we're doing. So that's how you get painted and then those thrown up, but not too much change in these bedrooms. One thing I'll point out about the whole house is the doors. It had old flat doors in here. We got 6 panels throughout. The one thing that we did was we were able to not even have to buy a door. All these doors came from our last remodel, the Oak Park, the real expensive one. Because it was so expensive, we took all of that stuff out of it and kept it. But all that stuff was really nice and can go into a lower home, like this home, for instance. I'll point out a couple other things that we brought up from that house and put it in here. But all the doors we replaced at the Oak Park house with 2 panel, not the 6 panel, but the 6 panels work fine here. So that's one thing to point out. We can head downstairs, or actually over to the other side of the house. Alright, so the biggest change, I think in my mind visually, was the reason why some people didn't like this house, or we were first skeptical about this house, was the layout on this side of the house. So you have your front room, you have a semi-formal dining, and then you had kind of 2 family rooms that were slightly separated. I don't even know what you'd call it, but if you wanted to call this formal dining and that a family room, but it just didn't work. You already had a family room downstairs, you had a living room upstairs. It didn't flow right. Even though it was nice and open floor plan, it just didn't flow right. So we added a bunch of walls and broke it up and made 2 more bedrooms. So now it's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath instead of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We put up this half wall instead of an iron railing. We had that railing there. I said we were going to keep it, but because we added these rooms, we had our framing and sheetrock guys already here, so it was just as easy to throw this up. We also threw up the same type of half wall on this side as well. There was a iron railing that was there. So in here, this wall, none of these walls existed. We put up this wall to separate it. The only thing that there was kind of a half wall that kind of broke up these 2 sides of the house, but didn't really flow very well. So now I feel it flows a lot better when people come through here. This is a really big bedroom, which, you know, in Sugar House is hard to find. This closet is huge. You don't find closets like this. It's a huge walk-in that you've got 3 different shelves or 3 different shelves that you can have for storage. So this kind of a closet is a huge selling point in Sugar House because most of them in these bungalows are super small. So none of these bedrooms are necessarily a master because they don't have a bathroom, but they're big enough to be called a master bathroom. So, so we get in here. Here's the other bedroom. This had a ceiling fan that we took out and just put bulbs, regular bubble lights in because it had lower ceilings. I mean, right now, if that ceiling fan was there, it would have been hitting me. It was a nice one, but we kept it. We'll use it in something else or move it around. As you can see, we've closed this in to make it a bedroom as well. It felt like a master, and this will be a good master for whoever wants to use it, but it's got nice windows, lots of natural light that were all here, all new windows. There was some older sconces here that we just threw these new modern ones up. Again, clean lines, square, flat lines is kind of what we're going with. And then we threw in this closet, which is a nice size or a nice size closet as well. Kind of a half walk-in, not full walk-in. So in here, we kind of just this is kind of a mini mud room, and we just tiled. It's got a piece of cardboard over it, but there's travertine under there as well. We were able to. We don't use travertine a lot, but we were able to get a really good price on it. I don't know. The only reason we don't use travertine is I feel it was almost overused for a really long time. I like to do stuff that's different. It almost became the regular, and I like to stand out and be different than all the other houses. Down here, there's a big change. If you remember, it was a second kitchen. Didn't make sense to have a second kitchen down here because you don't have a separate entrance, and without a separate entrance, you can't really call it a mother-in-law, so why would you have a kitchen? So I was like, let's get rid of the kitchen and the old cabinets that were here. But it was like, well, we have the plumbing there, so if we have the plumbing, let's just keep the plumbing and have it be a wet bar. Because this space, if it was nothing, would feel a little bit awkward because you gotta imagine how people are gonna put their furniture into a house. And so my thought process in here was, this is kind of gonna be dead space and people aren't gonna know what to do with it. So keep it a wet bar. This whole entire set of cabinets was actually from the Oak Park house as well. We just painted these oak cabinets white and threw just a standard countertop on top, just a standard sink and a standard faucet and then a mirror. So it just gives it a real good feel. If someone wants, they can throw a little mini fridge on the side here, but we finished it off with beadboard and made it look nice. So that if they don't put anything, it still doesn't look awkward, but you know, a mini fridge is gonna look good down there. In here, we took out the whole row of cabinets that was here as well. There's kind of a bar that was set up that kind of broke the room up. We took that out to make it flow better. This pole we wrapped with sheetrock because it was just a standard regular pole that was really ugly, so we just wrapped that and made it look nice and finished. Other than that, we got new carpet down here, pretty standard. We textured all these walls because they were kind of wavy. This was actually paneling. You can kind of hear it's just still paneling, but we just textured over it, made it look good because we didn't want to replace all the sheetrock. In this bathroom, we got a major change too. You know, we were trying to keep this rehab real minimal, but as we got into it and as I looked at more comps, like I said, there was not good stuff on the market. We didn't go overboard with this. We did a lot of cost-cutting things, but we also made it look nice. In here, we ended up doing travertine as well. Again, this cabinetry is from Oak Park. One little trick we did here is these cabinets were all super low, because old cabinets came in low. We added about a 6-inch filler to raise these cabinets up to make it more modern. If you see more modern sinks and counters, they're up higher, up above your waist, so you don't have to bend over and when you're washing your hands and that type of stuff. So we raised that up, make it feel modern, but use an old cabinet so it didn't cost us anything. Before there was the vanity that went the whole length of the bathroom, which just felt weird and was old and rickety. So we put this new one in, painted it white, and it goes with the rest of the house. And then just bought this unit for storage from Home Depot, threw it up together and put it in this void. I didn't want to put anything over when you first walk in because I wanted it to feel more open and you weren't cramped. We actually had this unit over in that corner to begin with. You felt too confined when you walk in. In here, again, didn't redo any of the tile, just sprayed it, cost cutting, keep it clean, and keep it cheap, and so we can keep our sales price down. Yeah, some other big changes. Let's see here. In this bedroom, before was still a bedroom, but it was a little awkward because you had a walk-in closet when you first came in. The entrance for it's in a little bit different spot, but we just kept that, and there was actually an open area that went into another kind of semi-closet, but it was unfinished. Felt more like storage. So what we did was we closed that off, made this a bedroom, made that the actual dedicated closet for it, and then it's storage now back behind the furnace room for that. So just a lot of things that were wrong with this property were flow, and with a couple $1,000 in sheetrock and framing, we were able to change the whole entire flow of the house and make it feel really well. 3 out of 5 bedrooms has walk-in closets. Again, this is another walk-in closet here. It's we didn't really do too much to spruce it up, but that's what people are going to really like about this house. And in here, we just threw some sheetrock up against this wall to finish it off. We didn't paint it, tape it, nothing, just kind of threw it up real quick. We also painted the floors and put some Fleck in it, just so that when you have an unfinished laundry room, compared to even just painting it and throwing some sheetrock up, we didn't do it on this wall, but it just makes it, we're trying to make it feel as finished as possible, because a nice laundry room is always nice to have. Someone can come in here and tile it, do whatever they want. What I wanted to do was, if we had another one left over, was throw another old cabinet from Oak Park in here so they had a folding table. Unfortunately, we used all of the ones we had, and we couldn't do that, but that was one idea I had in here. One tip that we used was, again, we got a home warranty on this house a couple days after we bought the house, because we knew that the furnace looked old, but a couple days after we bought it, the furnace went out. Only had to pay $60 for a brand new furnace. There's 2 of them, one for each floor, which is a selling point, so you can have different control in each one, but this is a brand new furnace we got for $60, so it's a huge plus. And then in here is the storage room. I'm not even sure where the light is. I guess it's over here. Yeah, little weird spot. Didn't even replace this. We weren't even going to finish this off with sheetrock, but we ended up doing it just because our guys were here and it was pretty cheap. Actually, I think they had already done it before we had decided not to. So, because we were debating whether this was going to be the closet for that room on the other side or the one that was already there, and we decided that to do it this way as storage. So this is a nice big storage room, and it's finished off and everything. So it gives the house a real nice feel to it. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for checking it out. I'm trying to think of anything else. One other thing, helpful tip is we didn't do air on this house. Didn't really think it was too necessary because, again, we wanted to keep the price down. And the roof is probably getting near the end of its life. So the roof, the air, the hardwood floors, and the windows were all kind of things that we had on the edge, and we're going to wait to do judgment calls on. We didn't do the roof, and it's only one section of the roof that's a flat part on the addition, and we didn't do air. And if we get a full price offer and they ask for air, we're going to do it. And if they ask for the roof, depending on what the offer is, it's a negotiation. But we've tried that out before on those two, and they're when you have a whole entire house finished like this, in our experience, you can those are negotiation points where we have those factored into our profit, and we will make money if we do them. but it's something that as long as we disclose that the roof is near at the end of its life in the seller's disclosures and on the listing, and we'll see how people react about the air conditioning. But you know, we're going to probably list this a little bit higher than we want. One good reason why I like to be in an office with other agents and talk to people about the houses that I'm working on is because I talked to an agent about this house, and she said that she had a house up the street that she was had listed for a while and listed it high and then dropped down and sold it. But she had it listed for like 4 months, and she said every single open house she had over 30 people come and picked up 1 to 2 buyers every single time. So what we take from that is, okay, we know this is a hot neighborhood, we know people want to live here, so we also know we have some built-in profit where we only took 5 weeks to rehab this house. We can wait a little bit, so what we're going to do is list this property a little bit high to see what we can get out of it and see what the reaction's like, and we're going to have multiple open houses, 1 or 2 a week, and try and milk some buyers out of the house. A lot of people don't do that because they don't have their license, or they just don't think they want to sell it quick. We're going to list it at probably $380 or $379.9, just to see what reaction is and have some open houses and milk some buyers out of it. Some unrepresented buyers is what I mean. If you can get an unrepresented buyer on a house, that's just profit, more profit from the house that you're getting. It's and especially in this price range, you know, in that price range, it's a good price range that people are moving in. The other thing is once we figure out and get a couple buyers off it, if we don't get an offer, you know, we'll slash the price down to where we originally would have listed it at and sell it quick. You know, I think if we were to list it at $360, we'd have an offer in a day. There's not much available, and that's a really good price for this area. But like I said, we're going to list a little bit high and see if we can get some buyers out of it, and you know, double or you know, add some profit on top of what we're already getting out of this. So. We ended up I wanted to put 15 into this. As we tore into it and figured out what we wanted to do, we ended up putting about 25 into it, but that's because we originally thought we could list it with 15 into it. I was saying a resale price of $315 or so. Putting 25 into it, I think that we can get $360 easy. Maybe, you know, like I said, we're going to try at $380. That makes sense to put that much more money in to get that much more money out, and that's why we went forward with it. So. That's how I look at every house, is in different scenarios, and that's what you should do, not just full-blown rehab, because full-blown rehab doesn't always work. You may over-improve, and that's what you don't want to do. People right now want to get into a nice house that's clean and remodeled, but for as cheap as possible, and the way you keep your sales price down is keeping your repair costs down. So that's kind of the lesson learned on this house. Pay attention on the next one, and I'll see you next time I do a video walkthrough. Thanks.